Well, hey now. It's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting. Please welcome to the show, singing Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. Happy snow day in Pennsylvania. We're getting buckets today.
Oh, it's snowing pretty hard over there?
Yeah, school is closed, and I got a picture from my wife where my daughter was outside shoveling the driveway, and she'll do it stupidly and wrong, and I know I'll have to fix it when I go home, but it's still sweet.
That's nice, at least for her to try.
Right. And, she's the one woman in the house that's not in trouble.
Why is that?
Oh my God! I could have DDT'd my wife. I could, if there was ever going to be a night where I gave my wife a pop-up power bomb under the stove, it was going to be last night.
What happened?
So Sunday was Royal Rumble day, and we're watching a lot of Royal Rumble at my house and getting all fired up. And I may or may not have watched the 1995 Royal Rumble before the other one. Getting all.
One of my favorites. That's the first one I ever watched.
Yeah. So a lot of wrestling on Sunday. Then yesterday, the kids couldn't stay up to watch the Rumble, and they really were excited. So they had to watch the Cena match and then the Rumble. So we watched that, and then they go to bed, and then Raw's on. So now I'm sitting down, and I'm watching Raw, and my wife does not like pro wrestling at all. And all of a sudden, she comes marching, literally marching, into the living room with a picket. She's made a sign. She has a paint stick. And it says, "No more wrestling" on it. And she's in front of the TV going, "No more wrestling. No more wrestling."
I'll tell you, she can be doing this motion, but she can be doing it with something else besides a picket sign.
Right. No more wrestling. And she was like, "Come on, let's watch something else. Come on." And then she starts doing her evil voodoo woman manipulative magic. And the next thing I know, I'm watching New Girl instead of watching Raw. She came out in the middle of Raw. Seth Rollins and Stephanie McMahon were in the ring, and she just blew me up. And I was like, "You son of a gun!" I said, "Wait till the commercial." So I put on the New Girl, whatever. Now it's time for bed. I woke up early. And I went downstairs and I watched wrestling. I had to finish Raw, and my God, I'm telling you, if I had read on Facebook or if I had seen what had happened at the end of Raw before I got to watch it, I would have given her a tombstone. She'd woken up and it would have just been happening. Like, what is happening? You're being choke slammed out the window.
So I want to make sure I have this straight, or that you're not embellishing at all. You're telling me your wife literally made a picket sign last night and actually picketed in front of the television?
Not an exaggeration at all. She'll confirm it, I'm sure, later today on Facebook. She was picketing.
This women's movement has gone too far.
It's gone too far. I said, go to Washington, D.C. with this nonsense.
Take that sign and take it to Washington. Exactly.
Get it out of the living room. And the best line, though, was when she was like,
"Get out of your living room."
She was like, "I can't wait until tomorrow night when there's no more wrestling." And I said, "Wrong again, dummy. SmackDown Live."
So it didn't get spoiled for you. You got to see the end, and you got to enjoy it in its full glory.
I did enjoy it. And I had a question for you before we jump into everything. We had talked about, Royal Rumble, and I'd mentioned Samoa Joe in one of my predictions, and someone picked Samoa Joe to win it all. And you said that, like, talking about not just Samoa Joe in general, but like any of these NXT call-ups this time of year is annoying to you. It's the talk that annoys you. The fact that they're called up doesn't annoy you, right? You weren't annoyed with what happened last night, correct?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. It's the people trying to predict what's really unpredictable. And, I don't know, I see people's wish lists of, because there was 8 unannounced names at Sunday's Royal Rumble. And I don't know, for example, Tony made a wish, not even a wish list. He had predictions, including DDP and Samoa Joe, and you know what I mean?
The ghost of Jimmy Snuka.
Right. It was just, I'm reading it, I'm like, that'd be great, but that's not going to happen.
An Angle, he had all of them. And he had guys not even in. He had Joe winning it all.
Exactly. And I'm reading that, and it's like, I love the feedback, but I respectfully disagree. Now, obviously, disagreeing with me on Sunday's Royal Rumble would be a good move because I got everything wrong.
Yes, you were so wrong.
But I hate the talk that happens. It's the same thing when the Money in the Bank briefcase is floating around. In every pay-per-view, people predict a cash-in, and they write it into their WrestleMania plans. And I'm like, let's be realistic here.
But it's kind of fun to do it.
How often do people debut in the Royal Rumble and it's a tremendously received thing? Like, okay, yes, it happened last year with AJ Styles. Without a doubt, that was a huge surprise, delivered the goods. When does that really, really happen, though, besides last year? And people say it over and over again, and it does annoy me. It really does.
No, when Samoa Joe didn't show up at the Rumble, I thought that's it until the night after Mania. I did. I thought we won't see Joe then until the night after Mania. I love what they did. And I love that. I prefer them writing him into a program with Rollins immediately than just having him show up in the Rumble.
Okay, here's what I think. Having him just be an entrant in the Rumble, yeah, that would have been a mistake. But I do think you could have had that segment on Sunday and maybe been more effective.
Yeah, have him show up. If you had him show up to the arena and then had Joe do it, that would have been cool. They must have been saving it for Raw for a reason. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they did it on NXT, and you could have had a similar thing, or like maybe vice versa, where Triple H calls out Rollins at the Rumble instead of banning him from the arena and actually following through with it. You could have had that kind of segment play out. You've got 4 hours plus to play with. You got 6 hours of wrestling. You've got all this stuff to fill. I really do believe that people would have been a bit more satisfied had that segment happened at the Royal Rumble. Don't mistake that for he should have been in the Rumble, but that segment or something similar could have happened at the Rumble outside of the match.
And to be fair, I feel like I predicted that he would do that at the Rumble, but I thought he'd do it to Roman Reigns. I thought the Braun Strowman interference was going to be Joe on Reigns. So, I mean, like we were close. I love it. I love the idea of Triple H being like, you still can't get to me. I'll bring up another guy. Too bad.
And that's the kind of booking you and I appreciate. Let's save that. Let's save that match. Let's save the feud. Let's save them touching, so to speak, for the match. I like that. Give me a little bit every week. And now you gave me a big bit, and that's okay too because it didn't spoil where they're eventually going.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't mind seeing Joe and Rollins build to Mania, but I do think that they're going to make Joe a roadblock to Triple H at Mania.
I think you're probably right. That's where I think their ultimate goal is.
But I'm excited in the role they used Joe. He looked like a monster last night. He looked like a monster. I just
correct.
have the same. Yes. I had the same question I always have.
Sure.
How'd they get him under the ring without anyone seeing? He wasn't under the ring the whole show, was he?
It's possible. I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff, and a lot of times back in the day, you'll hear about wrestlers waiting under there literally the whole ring. They give them a bucket of water, like with like cold water in it, like bottled water. And then they give them a bucket to urinate in and a little monitor to watch the show usually. Or there's some arenas have trap doors that they can go under too. There's other tricks they can use too. They've been, decked out as ring crew before. And if you do it when the lights are off, you can kind of make a ring crew member disappear, so to speak. There's tricks that they use.
Okay, because I was like, how'd they do that? Like with the Undertaker showing up in the Rumble ring, I still don't know how they do that. You can't sneak an Undertaker in.
Yeah, some of those, but I bet you Alamo Dome's got a trap door. But I don't know. Or also, I'm not even. Did Joe definitely come from under the ring?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't rewatch it. I just know that I know he came from the crowd or what.
I watched it, and I watched it at 3 a.m.
because your wife picketed your life.
Oh man, just an elbow drop. Like I can't choose the finisher I want to use. I don't know which one I want to use on her.
My girlfriend doesn't like wrestling either. She tolerates it to an extent, but she goes up and watches Netflix in the bedroom when I'm watching wrestling. Cause
that used to be what Kelly did. Now all of a sudden she wants to like be together and.
Yeah, but there's so many like I don't speak for you, but we're together like all the time. We don't mind the breathers.
I need a breather. Well, we're not. We're always running like crazy, but I could still use a breather.
I don't know, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, Sunday, we watch everything together. Like there's so much of that time.
Listen, I could see her 5 minutes a week. I just need a break. I
love you. I love you.
I gotta have some wrestling.
So, I guess let's finish the stuff about Joe. I've got a few more things. If we have a Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins feud leading up to WrestleMania, I'm worried about both of their careers making it to WrestleMania.
They're both pretty reckless.
They both have a reputation of being reckless. I don't care how many times people want to correct me on this. I don't care if people think it's unfair. I believe some people accused me of this last time I said this. While I'm not saying Seth Rollins is dangerous. I'm just saying he's probably the most dangerous guy to work with on the roster.
I know someone who would agree with you. Security guard number 3 at the NXT pay-per-view.
That would be 3 and 4. Yeah, I think he broke 2 noses. I haven't read anything. I don't care what anyone tells me. There's at least one of the security guards on Saturday at NXT. Seth broke his nose.
Broke his nose, and then after he broke that guy's nose, he kicked him out of the ring like hard in the sternum. I'm telling you, like he was super stiff and reckless with those elbows.
I mean, you don't hear about it because he's security guard number 3 and not John Cena or not Sting or not Finn Balor, you know, like, but he has a reputation of being a little reckless. And Bret Hart kind of called him out on that, indicted him on that, so to speak. I don't know. I don't believe he's recanted that. I think he recanted his Michael Hayes indictment of him not being Hall of Fame or WWE Hall of Fame worthy, both of which are statements I agree with and having nothing to do with the fact that Bret's my favorite wrestler ever.
If Goldberg's not allowed to live down ending Bret Hart's career, and I don't think he should be, then I don't know why we give Seth Rollins a pass for ending Sting's career.
Oh, well, I feel like that's a little rough. But he was rough with Sting, and Sting probably didn't need to be hurt that night. But Sting's also over the hill, maybe a little fragile. Sting doesn't blame Rollins. However, the professional thing to do in that situation is not to blame the opponent.
Right.
So I don't know how I feel about that one. I do love that Bret does not take that professional route when it comes to Goldberg and just goes balls to the wall with hating him. Like, I love that because it was his fault. There's no way around it, you know? So I appreciate his honesty more. And I don't think it's Bret being cranky to say the things that he said about Goldberg, about Michael Hayes, about Seth Rollins. I think he's being honest.
By the way, I watched the Rumble a second time because of the kids, and I feel like you might be onto something. I don't think Goldberg was supposed to win the Rumble, but I don't think he was supposed to go out when he went out.
Wait, I didn't say that. Right.
You did. You said you thought that it looked like an accident.
No, I didn't. Did I?
If you didn't say it, somebody said it to me, and I thought it was you. But someone insinuated that they thought Goldberg going out looked like an accident, and I watched it again, and it did look kind of like an accident.
No, this is the first time hearing about this.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, and I don't think they confirmed it if it was, but Undertaker had a look on his face like, whoops, and Goldberg was trying to save his feet from the ring, and then all of a sudden they just kind of touched on the apron, and I was like,
I guarantee you, I don't even remember who eliminated him, Undertaker?
Yeah.
I guarantee you it was not Undertaker's fault. Goldberg, that's just what he does. He screws up everything. Like,
well, that's why I believe it. That's why when it was insinuated that he might have not supposed to hit the ground when he did, I went back and I saw it, and I was like, if it's anybody else, I would assume they were supposed to. But Goldberg, he got more injured during a promo than he did during the Rumble. Like, he's a mess.
This was his job the Raw before Royal Rumble. Here's what we need you to do, Goldberg. 2 things. Number 1, walk to the ring. Number 2, cut a promo until Heyman cuts you off. He couldn't do either one of them. No. He was bleeding on his way to the ring. He just broke it. He just broke out like he's like the Exorcist. He's like the kid in The Exorcist. Yeah, just bodily fluid spewing everywhere. And then he had to start the promo 3 times on a live show. Come on now.
Did you see Kevin Owens' tweet during the Rumble? I'll butcher it. Did you see that tweet? That was great.
I did.
It said, Bill better hope the next entrant isn't his locker room door from last week.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's funny.
So what did you think of the rest of Raw? Because I think we both agreed that the end segment was great.
Yeah, well, the end segment went somewhere. I do wish the end segment would have happened on the Royal Rumble, but without the end segment, it would have been a tough show, I think, personally.
Right.
So let me start with this at the top. So, here was something I didn't have a problem with the opening segment, but there was one thing that got me. So you've got Braun Strowman, and he's doing a solid job with his character of being the really big. By the way, he is huge. When you saw him with Jericho and Owens, he was a tower.
He walked by me at a house show, and I just couldn't believe how big he is.
So, keeping that in mind, a person like Braun Strowman wouldn't queue up a clip from Raw. Does that make sense?
Well, and as they're getting ready to do it, and I think he's about to queue up a clip because I remember that little moment, and I was like, he's not the guy that would do that. You're right. He's not the crafty, I've got proof.
Right. He's the, I'm taking my title shot, not here's a clip of me deserving a title shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It's not, I mean, like, I get that happened, and I would have maybe had him reference it or something and then show the clip later, but him saying, like, here's a clip, like, that's not what Braun Strowman's do.
No, that's no. Could you imagine, like, the Warlord coming out and being like, "Here's a clip."
Here's a clip here's Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Or the Berserker. Like, just picture like these big guys who come to the ring.
We'll do it live. F it.
We're doing it live.
If anyone knows the Bill O'Reilly rant, if you don't, look it up on YouTube.
Well, I was annoyed by that opening segment as well, but something completely different. That opening segment had me so annoyed with Roman Reigns.
Right? Why?
And here is why. Because Kevin Owens comes out and he sells a match. He sold the match he had with Reigns the way it needed to be sold. He's damaged. He's hurt. He goes, "Don't touch me, Jericho." He's got bandages. He looked like a guy that had been in a war, and that's what you're supposed to look like. Or you're Roman Reigns, and 67 minutes after you've had the match, you come out and you're unbeatable in the Rumble. It's just freaking annoying.
Right. No, I understand that completely. Also, during the post show on Facebook yesterday, there was a big discussion. I didn't know this was a discussion, but I guess it is because Steve and Mike, both two guys whose opinions about wrestling I respect, they think that Roman Reigns is going to be married to Taker for WrestleMania, and I do not think that's the case. And I think that Raw, well, it didn't give it an exclamation point. I think that Raw helped my argument there. Do you have a thought on this?
Well, okay. Before Raw, I agreed with you wholeheartedly. After Raw, I still agree with you. But if they're not going to commit to Owens and Jericho yet, if they're saving that for maybe SummerSlam, maybe they want to keep them as a team, then
which I'm cool with.
Then you drag out the Strowman gets a title shot against Owens. Maybe that's where Strowman goes, and then you've got Roman Reigns and Undertaker. Who knows? Again, I watched the Rumble twice, and then the second time I saw things I didn't see the first time, and there is a very prolonged moment between Taker and Reigns where Reigns was like, "This is my yard now." Rah, 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 rah. So maybe. I don't think so. Those two guys were also so butthurt over the Rumble. I wasn't that upset with it. They hated it.
I don't remember them hating it. I remember Steve said the Rumble was a C, but that was the match. And I think he said the undercard was an A.
Steve said if crap is your first ingredient, the dish is going to smell.
I don't know that he was talking about the pay-per-view in general.
He was talking about the Rumble match.
I'll get my phone. It's over here. Hold on. I got to grab it real quick because he might weigh in on this.
Because I respect those guys too with their opinions, and they seem to hate it much more than I did.
Yeah, I think people get these big expectations when it comes to those hidden entries, the ones you don't know about. Like, you know, they make these wish lists. I'm not saying that they did, but like, you know, like Tony's list with all those people, and I'm like, you might get one of those. In fact, I even told you the only name I thought on his list that made any sense was Ty Dillinger, and I was right. All right, Steve's got a comment here. He's weighed in. He's watching. Thanks for watching, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
He says, I was talking about Mania and Orton. Okay, so he's saying that Mania might suck because of Cena and Orton.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm not that upset about it, and I don't like Orton either, but I'm not upset about it.
You know, and I agree with you, and I'll tell you why. Yes, this match has been done to the gills. Hold on, he's got another comment here. Orton should not win. Reigns should not be in Rumble. Okay. So yeah, he didn't like that Orton won. He didn't want Reigns in the Rumble.
I think the reason I liked Orton winning was because it was either him or Reigns. I would have been
right. Yeah.
I'd have been pissed. I'd have been inconsolable.
So I certainly am not going to deny the fact that this is a tired main event that has happened many, many times in the past. I know, and believe me, in 2008 and 2009, I was bored to death with those main events. However, when is the last time those two locked horns? We're going on maybe 7-8 years. I'm okay with it now, I guess. Are there better main events for SmackDown? Yes. Will I react the way I did in 2008 and 2009 when they have a main event pay-per-view feud? No. It's been long enough.
Well, and I heard somebody toss around the idea that Braun Strowman could end up winning elimination, or not Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt could win Elimination Chamber. And then you end up having Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, which would be interesting. But they're never taking that belt. They're never taking the main event from Cena. Cena's getting the main event at Mania. That's happening.
And listen, if Cena loses the belt in February, it's because he's winning it back at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that bothers me. So, okay, that's that. What else do I have here?
It felt to me like Raw was just about two angles the whole show.
Okay, you have Seth Rollins and Triple H.
Yep.
And is it Strowman and Owens?
Yeah, that's what it felt like the whole thing for me. What about you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Brock was there.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was kind of cool that they had him come out of the car when we were expecting it to be Triple H. I thought that was kind of cool because Triple H was who we were expecting, and then Lesnar comes out, and we weren't expecting him.
Are you excited?
I don't know. You know, one of my notes about this was, I wonder, like, was Brock a Goldberg mark growing up? Because he's doing a lot for him.
Yeah. Does he want to do, like, does he have a choice?
I think he does. I think my understanding was, from what I heard and what I read, Survivor Series was his idea. So let's keep it. Let's talk about what Brock's done for Goldberg, and keep in mind it's all been one-sided. I can't say Goldberg's done much for Brock. WrestleMania 20, Goldberg goes over clean.
Goldberg's promo has hurt him more than Brock Lesnar this year.
Say that again?
Goldberg's promo where he cuts himself on the door hurts him more than Lesnar ever did.
Yeah, well, Lesnar hasn't gotten anything over him. So you go back to WrestleMania 20. Now, my understanding was at the very least, Goldberg was willing to do the job for Brock. My understanding was, on the original writing of that show, Goldberg was supposed to go over. I'm sorry, Brock was. And Goldberg was going to do the job, and it was his last match, and he was happy to do it. Then, like that week, the news drops that Brock wants to leave and go play football. So they decided to make the change, and I guess they were just hedging their bets as to maybe who would be back first. I don't know, but they decided Goldberg would go over, and Brock did the job. And then fast forward to Survivor Series this year. They've got this legit feud, and then it was like the shocker of the century when it's like 90 seconds.
90. I mean, it was crazy.
And there was that, and then still, by the way, that was clean as a whistle. And then you still have Goldberg getting the better of Brock in the Royal Rumble on Sunday. So
quickly.
Yeah. So I just feel like I can't imagine Brock doing this for anybody. He must have worshipped Goldberg growing up. It's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I couldn't say it any better. There's no way to explain this, and it's almost made me not excited for the Mania match because, like, if they do it again, like, that's enough. I don't want to get fooled again, getting excited for these two, unless they're going to give me a real match. And at this point,
you'll get a real match at Mania.
10 minutes,
if not more. So I mean, do I care about? I guess, you know, like, I don't know. I would say, you know, it's like it's exciting. It's just not going to be good.
At this point, I would like to see them really slow burn it, like, because the challenge was laid to Goldberg. I'd like Goldberg to come out and say, no, I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't need to prove anything else. I've beaten you twice. I knocked you out of the Royal Rumble. I'm done with you. You don't get to fight me again. And then, like, have Lesnar chasing Goldberg and tormenting Goldberg.
That's cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. So I mean, this isn't a WrestleMania destroyer to me. It's just, you know, I'm fine with it personally. Let's see. I after the cruiserweight match, I wrote, did a cruiserweight match happen? Because I just tune out.
Yeah.
When you give me those purple ropes, it's just like, I can't. Like, stop with the ropes. Stop with the lights. Stop with the cruiserweight identification. Just let them wrestle on Raw.
I've stopped fast-forwarding through the women's matches, and I've started fast-forwarding through the cruiserweight matches.
Stop fast-forwarding through all of it, please.
I can't.
I need you to.
I don't fast-forward through Gallagher, but I fast-forward. I do. You don't understand. I'm under the gun. If I watch wrestling too long, my wife pickets in front of the television.
It does sound like you've got yourself into a bad situation.
She needs a short arm lariat. Is what she needs.
We need Valeria at WrestleMania.
I need to hit her with a tope con hilo.
Did you have thoughts on Rollins and Steph's segment?
Yeah, good.
Maybe
it moved it along.
I just my real note was it was as good as it could be.
Right. That's that. I'm done with Stephanie. I'm just she annoys me.
Yeah.
To that point, like, I'm done with Shane too. Like, let Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley do their thing on the show. I don't need the McMahon kids anymore. I just don't.
Or at least one or the other. We don't need two conflicting management figures on both shows. You know, like, I would personally let, you know, Mick and probably Daniel run both shows, but even if it's Mick and Shane, I don't care. Or even Stephanie and Shane. I don't need all of them.
Bye.
So, and here's, I guess, to further my review of that, if you say here in this segment, we're going to have Stephanie and Rollins cut a promo leading to the Triple H match. Again, it was as intense as it could get. It wasn't a great segment, but it wasn't. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I like the desperate Rollins. I'll come to your house. I'll show up at a board meeting. Like, that was all good. It got the point across. It moved it forward.
It's kind of cheap, but I like when you mentioned the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Saying that she was a disappointment to her husband, implying that in the bedroom she was disappointing. Like, that was a nice little jab. You know.
Oh, I saw her in that top last night. I don't know how much of a disappointment she'd really be.
Well, I marry them.
Right, yeah, marry them. Because they all look good in those kind of tops. And the next thing you know, they're standing in front of the television when you're trying to watch pro wrestling, and they're actually picketing your happiness. She's literally picketing my joy.
I understand, Jer. I understand. I'm sorry.
Hurricane Rana.
Steiner line.
I can't pick a move today, Rob, but I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to hit it. I'm going to nail it. Styles clash right under the sidewalk. I've had it.
That's funny. I thought that during Braun's entrance to his match with Owens, when he made that right turn and went right for Jericho, I loved that.
Yeah.
That I don't know why I didn't see it coming. And then it was like once I realized it was coming, like, Jericho didn't have time to defend himself. And I just liked the way that came off. and then they still had the match.
Yeah.
And Owens didn't come and help him.
No, Owens was trying to rest up because he knew that Jericho was going to cheat.
So that's what I had there. I like that right turn out of nowhere, and it's just, Strowman's working for me, I guess. I mean, I know I don't expect the same things that I expect from other wrestlers out of Strowman, but like when you look at those big guys that he's in the company of, I'm talking the Kanes, the Big Shows, the Mark Henrys, those guys that I don't expect normal wrestlers to do. He's my favorite.
He's better on the mic than all three of those guys, and he's better on the mic than Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Well, Roman Reigns, what a low bar. I mean, he's like on Titus level to me. I can't stand him.
The worst. I'll tell you, I'm not giving my wife a Superman punch because I hate his moveset. But
maybe a spear from the kitchen.
And that's 5.
I had 2 more notes. The first one was, I have to point these out every week because they drive me insane. We're talking 24 hours later, I guess maybe 26 if you want to get technical, or 25. We saw the same exact match, Sasha Banks and Nia Jax. WTF? Why? I mean, it's a rematch. It's the same in less than a day. It's a day after the first one.
I know. Get ready, because I bet tonight we see Miz and Dean Ambrose for the 50th time.
Maybe. I don't know. It's driving me crazy, though. You can't go a week without several rematches. That's driving me nuts. And then the only other thing I noticed is that it looks like Triple H is really not rocking that Just for Men. And that beard was dark. Sort of like Hogan's. Did you notice that too, or is that just me?
No, I noticed it. That's something I'll never do. I've just, because you never want that. You don't want that jet black stuff.
No, you don't want to look fake. At least you got to kind of maybe gradually get to jet black.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I had from the show. Is there anything else you want to mention?
I think I'm going to go with a pedigree. I think I'm going to pedigree.
The curb stomp.
Curb stomp, there it is.
Awesome. Well, listen, I hope that your marriage can survive this, but if not, I understand. And thank you for your contributions to the show today. For myself and for my tag team partner in podcasting, the domestic Jerry Valeri.
And listen, she can have the kids in the house. I just need the Apple TV so I can keep the WWE Network. That's all I need.
We'll catch you on Thursday.
The Walls of Jericho might work too. We're in that. Cinch it up. Cinch it up.